The ancient Romans undoubtedly excelled as unparalleled masters of architecture, skillfully employing advanced technologies and innovative materials. They were driven by an unwavering conviction that their empire would endure forever, unyielding and steadfast. It is therefore no surprise that every one of their constructions was conceived and built to last for millennia. We invite you to delve into history and explore just a few of the most impressive Roman structures that have survived through the ages, remarkably intact, across the vast territory of their former empire. Among these architectural wonders, a special place is held by an astonishing Roman bridge, majestically spanning the Tagus River in western Spain. This monumental structure, erected in the Roman province of Lusitania during the celebrated reign of Emperor Trajan, was completed in 106 AD. It is rightly considered one of the most outstanding examples of Roman bridge construction and an unparalleled testament to the engineering genius of that era. The architect of this grand project was a man named Gaius Julius Caesar. With great confidence, he inscribed these prophetic words on the bridge's stones: "This permanent bridge will remain forever in the world." Indeed, for nearly 2 millennia, these words have remained strikingly true, as the bridge continues to serve its original purpose, connecting shores and allowing the flow of life to move unimpeded. However, due to its strategic location at the nexus between Portugal and Spain, it has silently witnessed and directly participated in numerous bloody battles throughout its long history. For instance, in 1760, it was partially destroyed by the Spanish in an attempt to halt the advance of Portuguese troops. Later, during the Napoleonic Wars, it was again destroyed by Wellington's forces to block the path of the French Grand Army, which sought to invade Portugal. Yet, each time, after every destruction, the bridge was meticulously restored. Notably, the stones for repairs were always sourced from the same quarry as its original construction, emphasizing a commitment to authenticity and longevity. The total length of this colossal bridge is 181 meters, and it rises an impressive 45 meters above the steadily flowing waters of the Tagus River. The triumphal arch, located in the central part of the bridge, has endured so many destructions and restorations that little of its original structure remains, but it is invariably dedicated to the great Emperor Trajan, whose name marks this engineering jewel. Among the many monumental creations of the Roman Empire, the majestic Colosseum in Rome undoubtedly stands out, serving as a model for numerous amphitheaters built throughout the vast Roman world. It is in El Jem, located in modern-day Tunisia, that we find one of the most fully preserved amphitheaters on the planet. This colossal arena is rightly revered as the most impressive Roman structure on the entire North African continent and gained additional fame for serving as a filming location for the epic Hollywood movie, Gladiator. Its construction dates back to approximately the 3rd century AD, and it was built entirely from massive stone blocks, carefully following the architectural example of its slightly larger sibling, in Rome. It is estimated that the amphitheater of El Jem could accommodate around 35,000 spectators simultaneously. Only the arenas in Rome and Capua surpassed it in size. The structure reaches 148 meters in length and 122 meters in width. After the decline of the Roman Empire, this magnificent edifice was transformed into a fortress, where local inhabitants found refuge from the Vandals when they conquered North Africa. The amphitheater endured further damage when Ottoman forces attacked the arena in the 17th century, leading to the collapse of the western part of the building. Today, it proudly stands, serving as a silent but eloquent testament to former Roman power and engineering genius in North Africa. The city walls of Lucus Augusti, now known as Lugo, represent an outstanding example of late Roman fortifications in Western Europe. These imposing defensive barriers were erected throughout the 3rd and 4th centuries AD. Despite numerous restoration efforts over time, these walls have meticulously preserved their original layout, stretching for 2,100 meters and incorporating 85 towers that powerfully project from the main masonry. These monumental structures served as a reliable shield for the city's inhabitants, protecting them from the ever-increasing barbarian threat characteristic of the late Roman Empire. Although these fortifications are now devoid of the moat that once surrounded them, which in ancient times lent them additional strength and impregnability, it is still easy to imagine how formidable they must have appeared to any potential aggressor. These 10-meter walls would undoubtedly have deterred all but the most determined and desperate enemies. Currently, These historic fortifications are maintained in excellent condition, offering tourists a unique opportunity to walk along their top. In the Croatian city of Pula, among its historical landmarks, stands a temple dedicated to the first Roman emperor, Augustus. An inscription carved on the facade of this sanctuary provides a valuable clue to understanding its construction period: to Rome and Augustus Caesar, son of the deified Julius, father of the homeland. Based on this epigraphic evidence, it is believed that its construction was completed either in the late 1st century BC or at the very beginning of the 1st century AD. Originally, this magnificent sanctuary was one element of an architectural triptych that adorned the Forum of ancient Pula. However, only the Temple of Augustus has survived to this day in its entirety. Nevertheless, fragments of the rear wall of another temple from this triad can still be discerned on the facade of the 13th century municipal palace, located in close proximity to the Temple of Augustus. The temple's fate underwent many changes. In the 4th century, it was closed during the persecutions of pagans in the late Roman Empire, but later, during Byzantine rule, it reopened its doors after being converted into a Christian church. Subsequently, for a certain period, it served utilitarian purposes, functioning as a grain storage facility. By the end of the 19th century, this historical monument was partially obscured by dense urban development, and in 1944, during an Allied air raid, it was, unfortunately, almost completely destroyed. However, thanks to meticulous and painstaking restoration carried out in 1947, the temple was revived to its original appearance, which we can observe today. Currently, it houses a small but valuable museum dedicated to Roman sculptures. Although its dimensions are not as monumental as the grand temples found in Rome and other major metropolises of the empire, it undoubtedly remains one of the outstanding examples of early imperial Roman temple architecture. A few steps from this ancient temple stands the Pula Arena, a colossal amphitheater actively used between 27 BC and 68 AD. This magnificent structure, built earlier than its larger counterpart in Rome, nonetheless exhibits many structural and architectural parallels with the Flavian amphitheater in Rome. A distinctive feature of its design is its asymmetry, dictated by the terrain. The side facing the sea presents an impressive 3 tiers, while the opposite side, built into the hillside, has only 2 tiers. Its imposing dimensions are 132 meters in length and 105 meters in width, with its highest wall reaching 32 meters. In its heyday, it could accommodate approximately 23,000 spectators, becoming a hub for spectacles and public events. The magnificent arena served as a venue for spectacular gladiatorial games until the 5th century, when the powerful Emperor Honorius issued a decree permanently banning these bloody contests. After the cessation of gladiatorial performances, when the amphitheater lost its original purpose, its stones began to be actively plundered by the local population. This process continued for centuries. Even in the 18th century, building materials from the amphitheater were extracted for the foundation of Pula Cathedral. Throughout the medieval period, the arena's central space was used for equestrian contests and sporadic tournaments held by valiant knights of the Order of Malta, as well as serving as a bustling venue for medieval fairs. In the modern era, this historic arena has transformed, becoming a popular location for numerous concerts and even hosting several hockey matches, demonstrating its remarkable adaptability. Rising in the northwest of the Iberian Peninsula, this majestic lighthouse has tirelessly guarded the waters of the North Atlantic along the Spanish coast for over 18 centuries. It is rightly considered the oldest continuously operating lighthouse on the planet. Its impressive height reaches 57 meters, making it one of the tallest lighthouses in all of Spain. It is believed that its architectural appearance was inspired by the famous lighthouse of Alexandria. This landmark became known as the Tower of Hercules in accordance with an ancient local legend, which recounts how the Greek hero Hercules defeated the mighty giant Geryon after a continuous 3-day and 3-night struggle. After the enemy was vanquished, Hercules buried the giant's head and his weapons, then ordered a city to be built on that spot. The lighthouse itself, majestically towering above, serves as a symbol of the buried head of the enemy slain by Hercules, and this image is immortalized on the coat of arms of the local city of A Coruña. Another myth associated with the lighthouse, dating back to the 11th century, tells of a local Celtic king named Breagan who, according to tradition, erected this massive tower. From its summit, his sons, legend says, could survey the entire route to Ireland, where they eventually sailed and became the progenitors of the modern Irish people. In commemoration of this ancient legend, an imposing statue of Briagan has been erected near the tower. The lighthouse has remained in continuous use since its construction. However, in the 18th century, it underwent extensive restoration, during which it was redesigned in the neoclassical style familiar to us today. On the southern coast of Britain, one can discover this remarkably well-preserved late Roman fortification, erected in the late 3rd century, during a period when the empire faced a noticeable increase in piracy in the English Channel. It likely served as a crucial base from which the Roman fleet of Britain operated. Although the Romans departed Britain in the 5th century, it is improbable that the fort was entirely abandoned, given its strategically advantageous position at the head of a vast natural harbor. Within its walls, remains of a 10th century hall and tower have been discovered, suggesting its use in a later period either as a high-status residence or a small settlement. Despite the fact that the northwest corner of the fort was rebuilt into a Norman castle, a large portion of the Roman walls remains intact. Nevertheless, some stones have been removed, and several bastions have either been removed or destroyed. Alongside the walls of Lugo, this is one of the best preserved late Roman military fortifications. In picturesque Thessaloniki, Greece, stands a majestic rotunda, built by order of Tetrarch Galerius in the early 4th century. Similar to the renowned Pantheon in Rome, this monumental structure was crowned with an oculus, an opening in the dome that served as a source of light. The true original purpose of this building is still shrouded in mystery. Historians suggest it may have served as a mausoleum for Emperor Galerius himself or functioned as a pagan temple. However, it is definitively known that Galerius never found his final resting place here. After his death in 311 AD, his remains were interred in Serbia. It is important to note that this structure was an integral part of a vast imperial complex. Over time, under the patronage of Emperor Theodosius I, this magnificent edifice underwent significant changes, being transformed into a Christian church. It was during that period that its interior spaces were enriched with magnificent, high-quality mosaics, lending it a special brilliance. For almost 12 centuries, the building functioned as a Christian church until the Ottoman conquest led to another transformation. It was converted into a mosque. For this new role, a characteristic minaret was added to the structure, and it served as such throughout Ottoman rule. However, history took another turn when, during the Balkan War of 1912, Greek forces captured the city, and the building was reconsecrated as a Christian church. Remarkably, despite Thessaloniki being located in a seismically active zone and frequently experiencing earthquakes, this structure has withstood the test of centuries. Its exceptional resilience is largely due to its massive 6-meter walls and the application of robust, reliable construction technologies during its erection. Today, it is rightly considered one of the oldest surviving churches in the world.